Long time no see. I gotta get y'all hit. Welcome back to my channel. I know some time has went by, but your girl has been trying to get school together and just kind of get a grip on stuff. I have completed about a month of nursing school now. I went through my first test rotation or test week type of thing. This previous week, I had an exam in all of my classes. So medical terminology, patho, fundamentals, and health assessment. I had a lecture exam in all of those. And then I had a skills check off in fundamentals and in health assessment. But I kind of had those every week, so that wasn't that big of a change. But honey, let me tell you, them 4 lecture exams, they tried to take me out. They really did. They really did try to take your girl out. But I never fold, period. But yeah, so today I'm just gonna talk to you guys about how that's been and how I was pretty successful on my first exams, which I'm really proud of myself about that. The first month of nursing school, there's only so much that you can get from other people. There's only so much information that people can tell you, oh, well, look out for this, do that. But until you actually do it yourself, you really don't know what's going on at all. Like, no matter how much guidance my teachers gave and just trying to be very thorough with us and understanding with us, I was still confused up until we took the test, because you kind of don't know what to expect, and the teachers, they kind of just teach, or they expect you to just watch the Panopto lectures, but you still don't know what to study for the test. So you're like, okay, I have to study everything. And it's a lot of information. Like, if you don't know that about nursing school, what makes it so complicated is the amount of content that you must learn at one time. It's not necessarily that all the content is hard, because I did find that I wasn't really struggling with understanding the content. It was just the amount of it could get very, very overwhelming. So yeah, the first month, it hasn't been that bad. Once I got a grip on stuff, your classes are going to be early. Before you think that you're not gonna have an 8 a.m. class, a 7:30 class, get that idea out of your mind. All your lectures are going to be early in the morning. You're gonna have to figure out a way to wake yourself up, especially in Zoom format, because I don't have to get out of the bed for class. So I really have to be like, okay, Jamie, get in school mode, because if you miss some of this information, you're gonna regret it later. Expect lectures on the first day. Like, they kind of glance over the syllabus and all that. And even if they don't talk about the syllabus in actual class, they're going to post that first lecture, because this is a moving schedule. Like, there's no delays, no waiting, anything. They do not care. You're becoming a nurse. Starting the first day, we are learning to become a nurse. No shortcuts at all. But I kind of expected that, and I kind of liked it, because it was like, all right, let's just get into it, get our hands dirty type thing. What else? The instructors can come off as a little scary, but once I had conversations with a decent amount of my instructors, they're all great people, and they really care about our success. I haven't had many assignments. When I do have assignments, they're kind of due on the same day of the week. So it's nothing really just surprising or that pops up. But yeah, like, I haven't had many assignments, but I've had things that I just need to study. So when you come to lecture, they expect you to have went over the material already, so that when you get to lecture is a place for you to ask questions and iron out some things that you don't understand. So you kind of have to hold yourself accountable for knowing the material before, as well as when you have labs. Before I come to lab, I have to have these checkoff sheets printed off. I have to watch the videos of what we're doing that day, practice the skill that I'm getting checked off on that day. And it's a lot of self-preparation and holding yourself accountable. And if you aren't good at that, then I highly suggest improving on that, or it may not go well for you. It definitely forces you to be prepared and on your stuff all the time, because when it comes to them labs, no mercy. Because when you think about it, nobody wants to send a student to clinical who couldn't even do the stuff right in lab. You know, that's not how it works. For my test, let's talk about the test. So like I said, we kind of had to study everything and expect no study guides. That's not a thing in nursing school. It's not even a thing in college. I maybe had one class that gave us a study guide in college. What you do is create your own study guide. I know a lot of people like to use Quizlet. Quizlet is good for me depending on the class. I didn't really use it in like fundamentals and patho, and not really in health assessment either, only because when I look at Quizlets, I'm really good at memorizing things. So I'll just look at it and I'll memorize what's on the other side of the card, so I won't really be learning, you know? I'll just be memorizing. It's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. And with this stuff, yeah, you can memorize it for the test, but everything is going to continuously add on to each other. So you want to know that information for yourself. So what helped me best is I created my own study guides, and I think it's a requirement by all instructors that they have learning objectives for each chapter. What you do is you find those learning objectives, you copy and paste them into a Word document, and then that's your study guide. You do that throughout the whole unit, and then you have a whole list of things that they want you to focus on for the exam. Who would have knew? That's a great thing to use. I would still take notes on my slides for the lectures and stuff, but I would definitely make a study guide out of the learning objectives. I would color code it, make different chapters, different colors, highlight things that I had less of an understanding of. And I really just I started studying maybe a week and a half out from my exams, because all of my exams were consecutive. So on Monday, I had the fundamentals exam. Tuesday, I had health assessment. Wednesday, I had patho. And then I had to have my medical terminology exam turned in by Friday. So I had some every day with those skills checkoffs embedded in between all of that. So I had to be very diligent and strategic with when I started studying so that I could be successful, because at my school, a passing grade is a 78% on the test. Well, we have to have a 78% exam average and then an 80% class average. So, yeah, it's really serious, and I didn't have any space for mistakes or anything. So I made sure I started studying about a week and a half or so out. And, yeah, aside from the learning objectives, another thing that was very helpful is when the teachers give you opportunity to ask questions, make sure you ask however many questions you need to. It doesn't matter who gets annoyed while you're in that Zoom class. And I will say I am one of those students who will get a little annoyed when a lot of people are asking questions, but like, that's what they're there for. They're there to answer your questions. And whatever it is that you feel unstable about, get that straightened out before you start studying, because you do not want to embed the wrong thing into your mind and then boom, that's a point off your test. And like, every point matters. Another thing is, if your teachers allow you to look over old quizzes, I cannot stress this enough. Look over those old quizzes. Look at what you got wrong, and definitely look at what you got right, so that you can understand why you got that question right and why you know, and why you got that question wrong, so that you can do the appropriate studying and adjust to whatever you need to do so that you can be prepared for that test. Make sure you take advantage of those teachers sharing those old quizzes, because more than likely, if they write their own questions, those questions are going to be similar to those quizzes that you've taken each chapter. You got think smarter, not harder, okay? Use every resource that they give me. I kind of talk to some of my classmates about stuff, but I study on my own, so I didn't really do much collaboration studying. It's complicated, but if you make yourself a schedule and you stay consistent with your studying and do not cram. Do not cram. Don't cram. Because then you're really not gonna remember anything. I just said it's so much content. You need to start studying an appropriate amount of days, weeks out from the exams, depending on the caliber of it. Like, you have to just gauge that within yourself, but do not start studying at the last minute. Don't expect to be successful doing that. Oh, another thing that I did was I rewatched the lectures while I was studying for the exam. Some teachers will literally say, oh, this is going to be on the exam, while they're doing their lecture. And if you had your slides printed out or however you take notes, you can jot that down. That's free game right there. Like, there's a lot of things that come good with going to class, and I think a lot of times in college people forget about that because it's so optional to go to class or not. But one, in class is where you get the free game. And two, in nursing school, why wouldn't you go to class? Come on now, humble yourself. Another thing that I did to study was practice questions. So if, like I mentioned with the old quizzes, if you have those quizzes, you can figure out a way to like type them up somehow, make a practice quiz, or find practice questions, use ATI for practice questions. Because I learn better through being able to apply the information, because nursing style questions, every answer is going to be correct. And also you have to put yourself in the mindset of, I'm a nurse, I have these patients. It's a lot of prioritizing when it comes to answering the questions, because like I said, all of them are going to be right. So it's really just seeing what's the best right answer and what is most important to take care of right now. So yeah, practice questions did me a great favor. All in all, it hasn't been as miserable as people make it to be, and I haven't felt any doubts or like I'm doing the wrong thing or I'm in the wrong major, field, whatever. Honestly, it's just a game of staying prepared always, reminding yourself why you want to do this, why you want to become a nurse, because it will be hard. But if you just keep that thing that inspires you in your head, in the back of your mind all the time, you'll make it through. Like, there's so many people who are in nursing school who graduate, who become nurses. So why wouldn't you be able to do it? And that's what I just tell myself. Like, why wouldn't I be able to do it if so many other people have? If you know anybody who's ahead of you in the program, or who has been through the same program as you, or even just has become a nurse, talk to them, ask them what they did. You can never soak up enough knowledge from people who are already in the position that you want to be in. Well, all right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe this video. Leave comments below with different suggestions, things that you like, and I will see you guys next time.